It's when the test comes. Are you able to practice real yoga in your everyday life? Now there's a story about this disciple of Buddha, and he goes to Buddha and he said, Dear Buddha, I really want to reach self-realization in this life. What do I need to do to achieve this? How many hours a day do I need to meditate? And Buddha goes to him and says, 4 hours, that's all you need to do every day. He's thinking in his mind, 4 hours? That's really easy for me. And how long will it take if I do 4 hours every day? He said, 10 years and you'll achieve it. Because you practice it all the time. So 10 years, you will achieve enlightenment. So he thinks in his mind, 4 hours, 10 years, 8 hours, maybe 5 years. So he asked Buddha again, so Buddha, I have decided, he didn't ask, he just said, I have decided to now meditate 8 hours a day. And he thought the Buddha would be smiling, but the Buddha looked at him, okay. How many years, he goes, will I reach enlightenment? And Buddha goes, 20 years. And he looks and he said, why? If I meditate 8 hours a day, why will it take me 20 years? He said, because you'll be so busy meditating that you'll have no time to live in this world as you were meant to. So what would you have learned? So, spiritual practices are there to recharge us. But we have to remember one truth, that we are in the world. And while we're in the world, although we call the world Maya, it's all an illusion, while we're in it, it feels very real. It feels very real. So the idea is not to deny the world and say, I don't want the world because I'm suffering, and that's not the idea of yoga. Yoga is the science of how to deal with these thoughts. All these thoughts that are of denial. Oh, the world is such a painful place. Better if I die, or better if I take another, cigarette, or have another drink, or, get myself drunk. What's the point? Yoga is saying there's every point. Everything that is happening to me, good or bad, is teaching me to find me, my place in this world, in the highest I can be. Highest I can be, the best I can be. No other reason. All our sufferings come to us to make us the best we can be, spiritually, humanly. And never forget that. And in order to be the best we can be, simply, you just try to do your best with every day that you have. And that's one of the things we have to do. Do the best we can every day. Good day, bad day, doesn't matter. But every day we get up with that feeling, I'm going to do the best I can. And one magical thing that happens in our life is when we practice truthfulness. When we practice truthfulness is a very high form of practice, the highest you can have. This is why Lord Jesus said, and the truth shall set you free. Many of us have layers and layers and layers, and we keep lying to ourselves over and over again. Why do we lie to ourselves? Guilt, fear, and worry. Who has put the guilt on you? You have. Society is going to talk about you. Promise you they will talk about you. Guaranteed, good or bad, they will talk about you. Right? So, don't give that too much energy. Start to understand. You have to be truthful to you. Have you got it? Gurudev said a very, very lovely thing that always for me was so special. He said, you cannot please everyone. So instead, please yourself. if your intention is selfless, then you will be pleasing God. Now, many people feel very guilty when they want to do something good for themselves. They want to do something good for themselves, but they feel guilty about it. And I ask them, why do you feel guilty? I really want to do this course, but it's very selfish of me. Why is it selfish of you? Oh, because I'm going to leave my family, I'm not going to be with my husband for 1 week, or this and that. Why do you want to take the course? I ask them. Do you want to get away from your family? Oh, no, it's not. I'm just curious. I just want to learn. I just want to grow. I feel this spirit in myself. I don't know how many people have told me that, male and female. But it's selfish. And I go, why is it selfish if you want to better yourself? Because everybody's going to think I'm a bad wife or a bad husband. So you're going to sacrifice yourself. Your only chance at finding the spirit in you because of what everybody says. Have you spoken to your partner? Have you talked to your husband or wife? Have you said to them, I really have this feeling that I need to grow in myself. Not because I want to hurt you, but I want to come back a better person so we can have more fun together. Have you spoken to them like that? And most of the time they will say no. He won't understand. Or she won't understand. Again, untruthful. Is your own fear that you are projecting to somebody else. You are fearful that they are not going to understand, so you've already said they are not going to understand. I'm not saying that the person is going to understand. Maybe they won't. But you feeling fearful has already ingrained that in you that you cannot do something good for yourself. Why are we so deeply rooted in guilt, fear, and worry? If you are really coming from a good place, and you really in your heart want to do this not because you want to hurt anyone, but you want to love them more. So you want to stop hurting people so you can be who you were born to be, live a happy life, because that's our birthright. Do it. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Whose approval? Because if you're waiting for approval, you'll never get it. When you stop waiting is when you get it. So practicing yoga in your everyday life is is knowing where you are in life. Where are you in life now? You have to watch yourself. Where am I in life now, at this moment in time? What am I doing at this? Which job am I in? Where am I? Am I here looking after people? Am I here having a job that I don't like? Where am I in my life? How am I dealing with my marriage? What is happening? Is practicing where you are at this very moment. You look at where you are, and then you look at it as if it's somebody else's life. Because your own perception will be contaminated with all your preconceived ideas of what is right and what is wrong. Your preconceived ideas are probably not based on absolute truth. If it was, everything in life would be very clear to you. That it's not clear to you means your mind is fuzzy. That you can't make your decision, that you can't find firm ground, that you are so confused in here, means there's something in you that has not seen the truth clearly. So practicing yoga in your life is to be really truthful. Looking at every day as it comes in this moment and trying not to put your own personal, remember I told you a few weeks ago, depersonalize. Don't take it personally. Try not to take anything so personally. The other week I was working with a couple, really lovely couple, and actually very well suited to each other. But of course, like all couples, what happens? You go through difficult phases, you have children, they start acting up, there's no time for each other, it's all about making money, it's an economic situation, the wife is frustrated, the children are crying, everybody starts screaming, right? So two people who really have a great relationship, suddenly, because of all the stress, no longer have it, now they want to separate. So ask them, if you want to separate, why have you come to see me? Why don't you just separate? I told them, why are you bothering? You said you want to separate. Why do you need approval? I'm a stranger. You don't need any approval from me. I don't even know you. So why are you sitting here in the first place? Be truthful. Very difficult for both of them to say we still love each other.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah, it was. Was it so sweet? Because it was really so sweet. It really was so sweet. And in fact, since then I get such lovely messages from them. I told them it's early days yet. Don't think that this couple of sessions is going to make you okay. To work hard. But it was so sweet. But we can't live with this, all this shouting and this argument. Anyway, we talked, and they were really saying the same thing to each other in a different language. Two different cultures. One was from here, Spanish energy, more Latin, more fiery, and the other one was from, from England. More quiet, don't say anything, reserve. If you feel pain, better not to hurt anyone, so just shut up and don't communicate. So one was ba 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 ba, and the other one was sitting like this. And I said, look at each other, people. Look at you. You even sit differently. And they looked at each other. And so I told her to sit up straight, and I told them to be a little bit more humble. I said, you need to keep quiet, you talk too much. I said, but she doesn't say what she feels. She expects me to understand. Don't you all know that feeling? She expects me to understand. Why don't you just say what she feels? I have to guess what she feels. And then she tells me off because I guess what she feels. And she said, I'm reading her mind and that's not the way she feels. And we start arguing. So I said, anyway, we finished very, very nicely. And they ended up really hugging each other, being very truthful. And then each of them, they started off with blaming each other. Blaming, your fault. What did our master say? You point one finger and blame somebody else. There are three more pointing back at you. And guess where the trigger's pointing? So I showed them that. So during our conversation before they left, they were doing this, and every time they did this, I said, trigger time. Bad habit. They must have put out the trigger maybe 20 times in 1 hour. Kept on going back to blame. And I said, stop right there. Stop. Just stop and listen to yourselves. Look what you are doing. Stop. I said, I don't know whether you're going to stay together or not. All I'm telling you is what I see is deep love. It's up to you. Do you want to save it? Have such a deep love. We want to save it. They really wanted to save it. And they said they were really going to try. But this is very nice when you get two people wanting to try. And he said, I am going to try not be so arrogant. And she said, I'm going to try and communicate and say what I think instead of cower away. I said, okay, so you watch each other. And if you see each other doing this and you see him doing this, all you have to do, I said, without talking, because the moment you say a word, then the argument will start. Without talking, I told them about, sit on the table, take a deep breath. And I said, you will both calm down. So let's see, I'll let you know. That'll be quite interesting. But it's what I'm saying is the problem was that they were not practicing what I call yoga, truthfulness. Also, we all come from a lot of baggage, right? A lot of baggage. All of us, some have very dysfunctional families, right? So, for example, when somebody is angry, they will say, oh, you're just like your mother, or you're just like your father. Correct or incorrect, right? So what have we ingrained in the person? Another case I had, this person had a very unstable mother. Very good 1 minute, and next minute, if you say anything she didn't want to hear, she turned into a demon. I'm sure many of you have seen these people, right? So, she suddenly be a demon. You didn't agree with her, she was a demon. If you agreed with her, she loved you. So that was the state of the mother. And very, very good and very, very horrible. But the child, the daughter, did not have a natural tendency. You could see by I could see by body language. You can see by the make of a person, the eyes of a person, that they're not like that. But she was convinced that she had a schizophrenic problem, because her husband, every time he got angry with her, what did he tell her? Just when she was tired or in a bad mood, she would just, I'm so tired, right? Which is normal. Doesn't everybody do that once in a while? Isn't it just the most normal thing in the world to do? Yeah. She would just go, I'm so tired. And he would say, just like your mother. Attack. And guess what? Believed it, and believed it, and believed it, and believed it. She got really confused. She loved her mother, she hated her mother, didn't know who she was, didn't know who he was. So complicated. And then I just told her, I said, tell me the truth. Would you ever tell your child, like your mother would tell you, get out of the house? She said, no, I'd never do that. What? You're not like your mother. Tell me also, isn't it true that when your mother is so loving, she'll do anything for you? She said, yes, she would. I said, sometimes you're a little selfish with your children. Would you do that? She said, maybe I wouldn't be like my mother. Do you see? So I said, so very good, you're not like your mother. Very bad, you're not like your mother. So who are you? Find yourself. But she really thought she should see a doctor because she was schizophrenic, because she'd been told that over and over and over again by her husband, but over a period of 20 years. So think you 20 years of your life. So you lose all your confidence. So I called him in, and he, again, very nice. Sometimes, there are these men that are willing to change things because maybe they love their wives very much. And he admitted he was doing that. But guess what was the interesting thing I found out from this case? She was telling him he was like his father. Rude, arrogant, and obnoxious.
I had lovely parents.
You got his karma.
Absolutely. Isn't it interesting? So, and all based on untruths. Do you see? And I said, we're not here to judge your parents. God bless them. They've done their life. They've brought you up. You can't change them. We're here for you. Who are you? All I'm hearing is you like your mom, you're like your dad, you like your mom, you're like your dad. I'm not hearing anything about who you both are. I said, go home and find out who you both are and learn not to compare yourself with your parents. And if you want to, think about all the good things your parents have done for you. If you have to. You wouldn't be here today without them. Okay, they're odd, they're strange, they're dysfunctional. But guess what? You're one better because you want to fix yourself. They don't want to fix themselves. Our generation is quite stubborn. They think they know it all. I said, but your generation, much better. You want to fix yourself. And that is truthfulness. And that is great. The fact that you're willing to see the truth as it is, and stop pointing fingers for the rest of your life, blaming your parents, is a great step forward. Don't you think it's a great step forward? I think psychology got too much into blame in our generation. Blame this and blame that and blame this. But nobody's been happier. If people have been happier by blaming, go ahead, it works. But people become bitter by blaming. And that is very truthful. And if you don't believe me, just look at the people around you that are blaming. There is no joy in their lives. It doesn't matter whether people are wrong or right. Your parents cannot live your life for you. Your partners cannot live your life for you. When you go on the deathbed, you are there on your own. What they can do for you, if you have a loving life, is help you through the most important stage of your life, when you move to your next new beginning. And the only way they can do that for you is if they truly respect and love you, because you love and respect yourself. The only way you can love and respect yourself is when you live your life in the highest way. Your word should be impeccable. When you say something, it should be so truthful. Can you please switch that off? Everybody is so hot over there. They're all fanning themselves and really suffering.
Someone hold it.
Sorry, because it's hitting that one.
Yeah.
If you close that curtain, you won't get a draft.
Yeah, but do you want that?
No, I don't.
No, I mean,
Then you want to move?
No,
Yeah,
please.
sure,
I'm
sure.
all right.
You sure? Take a blanket.
thank you.
Yeah, because I see them there on with their fans.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh my God, they're so hot.
People hot,
We should just swap sides.
Come forward. Pablo, come forward. Sure? It's cold back there. But I see you very clearly because you're right in the center. So, these are all the untruths we tell ourselves in life, right? We feel it's wrong when we want something good for ourselves, automatically feel guilty about it. Why? Why? Don't you feel you deserve something good in your life? I really find that so strange, the amount of people telling me I feel guilty because I have and other people don't have. Why do you waste your time feeling guilty? Share it. Simple solution. You want to feel better? Oh, but I don't. What if I give it all away and I have nothing for me? Then you don't want to give it. Why don't you say I'm selfish and that's why I feel bad? That's more honest. I'm not generous. That's more honest, don't you think? If you really feel bad that you have so much, share it. You don't feel bad at all. You're just scared to share it. You're not generous. Be generous. You want to cure that problem? Be generous. I mean, that's truthful. We use so many excuses to hide the truth. And then we lock ourselves in these prisons of thoughts that make us so miserable. And we think there's this judge up there saying, oh my God, you did this. Oh, do you think a God can be bothered with your problem? There are millions of human beings. There's all nature to look after, and all those planets that we don't even know about, and all those galaxies that we haven't even touched. You think there is going to be a God there picking on you? Think again. You're not that important. Who is picking on you? Who's got all those thoughts? Yourself. And what God has given us is the ability to decipher information very clearly, very truthfully, very lovingly, or to be extremely selfish, real selfish, live in fear, live in guilt, and that's a demon. in us, not God. This energy is just energy. It gave itself, of itself, for all of us to experience. I keep repeating this in the Upanishads. It says, the Lord of love, no larger than the size of your thumb, lives in the hearts of all. Bhagavad Gita. Deep in the hearts of all lives the light of all lights. Karma, science, as Lord Jesus, as you sow, you reap. Science, the law of cause and effect. For every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. So practicing yoga in your everyday life is having the ability to be aware of yourself. We started very simply by saying, are you aware that myself and yourself, the real self, the one, the light inside, we're all one? Start to be a little bit deeper in your thinking. You know, we all say we like kindness, we like consideration, we'd like somebody to help us when we're in trouble. Ask the other way around. Wouldn't other people like the same as you would like? Wouldn't other people? Isn't it nice to be kind? Isn't it nice to be aware? And the reason why I asked them to announce it, because last Wednesday, I saw these two, again, doing everything. Last Wednesday you guys were really good in the kitchen, the young group. Thank you. You were really good in the kitchen. And I was really grateful. And I said, look, people are really happy to help. Everybody says, what can we do to help? What can we do to be help? And it's our fault for not saying, hey, we need help. And these two have to rush in the evening to do everything. It's not right, is it? I'm sure if we ask, it's our fault, you see? We can't say, oh, nobody helps. We haven't asked. Right? How do you expect them to? They should know better. Why? We all, like humans, we forget. We all forget. Isn't it true? Yes. I mean, I had a teacher training session on Saturday, and I've taught them over and over and over again, some of them for even 15 years, and I couldn't remember one of the sutras that I keep repeating. True or not? Is it true or not?
I forgot which one it was.
Good one. Good. Isn't it funny when you see it? I don't even think, you can't remember. After years I've taught you, and somebody forgets. You go, they should know better. The judge coming out again, right? The judge. Do you see how we're so willing to? Yeah, everybody should know better. We all should know better. But sometimes we forget. We're human. So remind. Sri Patanjali says, in order to change these patterns that are so stuck in our minds, we have to practice the opposite thought process for a long time, without a break, and all your heart. So when you have a thought process that's always judging and judging, know there's something that's very untruthful in your way of thinking. Something that's not balanced. Because really, if your mind is pure and clean, and you're full of love, which is our natural state of being, the Lord of love, a natural state of being, no larger than the thumb lives in our hearts. And when we're in that state, when we're in that state of being, there's no judgment. You just want to love everyone. You just want to love them all because you see the same in them, and you feel compassion for their problems and their mistakes as you do for your own. But if you can't forgive yourself your problems, you will never forgive anybody else theirs. You know, it's not about leaving a person or staying with a person. It's doing what is highest in your book. Your book of truthfulness. In the end, you have to answer to you, your book of truthfulness. It's your story. That's the gift we've been given. This wonderful gift. Okay, this is your destiny. From all the karmas you've done in previous life, guess what? This is what I've given you. This body, this mind, these parents. Let's see how you write the rest. There are certain things you will have to go through in your life because of what you did in previous lives. That's your destiny. But you have a choice to change now so that your next chapter can be really beautiful. Do you want it? That's the God in you. You can change. You can decide. That's the only thing human beings we have that animals and inanimate objects don't have. We have that choice. How exciting is that? That's the God power we were given. That's the magic, and that's practicing yoga every single minute. Can I make this minute enriched or mundane and horrible and sad? Because I'm so proud, I have to prove a point. You know, there's a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
It's an American, I think it's Almandino. Is it Almandino? I don't remember. Oh, Who Ate My Cheese?
Carlson, no?
Is it Richard Carlson?
Yeah.
And there's another one, Who Ate My Cheese?
Remove my cheese.
Who Moved My Cheese?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
can find it, I think
I
you have it. It's a very thin, small book. Really thin, easy to read. You can read like in 1 hour, I think. Brilliant. Read it. Really read it. It'll shift your consciousness totally. And such a simple book. And these books are teaching us to see our psychological aspect. How psychologically sometimes we are so damaged, not from our parents as we think, but from our own judgments. And then we take these judgments and we will blame people for giving them to us. We take these judgments and we'll blame God for judging us. But we won't take the responsibility of our life and say, I've been given the greatest gift of all, human life. And I couldn't have done that bad in all those lifetimes if in this lifetime I have a body that can move, a mind that has got intellect, I've got a sharp intellect, I can think, and a heart that's not so bad. I'm not so bad after all. I'm pretty good, you know. I've been given all the right things. Now, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to waste my life away complaining? Or do I want to live in yoga? Accepting and yet shifting. And shifting what is not correct, or what makes me suffer, or what makes others suffer because of me. Shifting those things. So how do you do it? Sri Patanjali says, use the opposite action, right? So if you are always in fear, I'm scared to do this, I'm scared to do this, what should you do? Face your fear. You have to. If you don't face it, you will never be free. Face it and trust. Trust that there is a power in you, you can get through it. Never going to be easy when you face your fear. I guarantee you, when you face your fear, I will guarantee you will shake, you'll do this, but when you face it, you feel so, wow, as if a burden's been taken out your shoulders. You feel like, I feel so light. So many people I've been working with now for so many years. Every time, they take so long, some even 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, some even 15, to face their fears. But when they finally do it, they tell me, wow, why did I carry it for so many years? Why did I have it? It wasn't so bad after all. It really wasn't so bad. Somebody was telling me the other day they had something had happened. And they were, oh my God, this is broken down. It's going to cost me so much money to fix it. How am I going to afford it? All my wage this month will go towards fixing it, etc., etc., etc. 2 nights, worry, fearful. How am I going to get the money? When he found out the quote for doing it was something like £50. It was always 2 days worrying for nothing. I said, yeah, half the time. The fear is unfounded. It's totally unfounded. And we're living in this fear. How am I going to afford it? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And for that, I always remember Lord Jesus is saying, he says, look at the birds and on the trees and the flowers. You know, look at all the animals. What is the whole saying? Do you know it, Master? Does anybody know it?
Birds and the bees, if it
Yes.
Feeds
They do
them.
not.
Yeah.
work
See,
on being-
they don't worry about being fed. In other words, I'll give you my language. They do not worry about being fed. I have to be truthful. But this is what it means. They don't worry about being fed. They are fed. They don't worry about clothes. They're clothed. You know? And the other day I was, I now have a habit of feeding the birds every day in my garden and I love it. And I was saying, look, even they tell me feed the birds. Because now all the gardens, I heard they put all this pesticide and so many of the birds are dying off and they don't have the natural, because actually I learned this from Gopal, because they normally eat the worms. It's ecology. I don't know much about ecology. I'm not really smart. But he was telling me the birds will eat the worms will go naturally, but now you put the chemicals, the worms will die, and then there'll be no butterflies to spread the flowers, and and the birds will have no food, and the birds will die, the species will, diminish, and it just, whoa. Okay, I'll start feeding the birds. But look where it came. Somebody came, gave me a thing, I just did it. When I get messages, I just apply them. Especially if it's to serve the world. Okay, another few minutes added to my long day. But there's a force in me that says, if you don't do it, you can't start your day. So either I walk away from that thought that says you better do it or you're not going to have a comfortable day. And all day I'll be having the thought, just for giving 2 more minutes of my time, that I should feed the birds. And then the excuse for this, because this is what happened the first day, right? 2 days. But, yeah, and then the other thought will go, but Nana, you're really busy, you just done it, you still got to do this. I go, stop the chatter, just feed the birds, get it going. And I go, get the bird, feed the birds, and then the joy, I see, and I look, then I spend more time. Because after half an hour I hear the sound of the birds, right? And then you get curious, right? And like the other day, and I go, I tell my granddaughter, Tara, come, we fed the birds this morning, and look, they're all coming to our garden, and they're having fun, and they're singing. And then you feel, such a simple action. This must be yoga. This must be divine. That such a simple action makes me so happy. So happy. Why would this make me so happy? Just feeding the birds. Or learning, like lighting my fire.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
Nature, no? Nature made of the
It makes you so happy. And I think how many of us actually have time to sit with different things. Like for me, this is really different. I've never made a wood fire in my life. Neither have gone out to my garden and fed the birds. And I thought, how many people actually in today's world make time to have this kind of fun? They're always rushing through the day. And I almost did that with the birds. I could see, even if it's spiritual my day, I was still trying to rush through it, which isn't spiritual anymore. But you know what? I have time to do it all now. All of it. And I said, why did I even think I did? So it's all a state of mind. We tell ourselves time is limited. So we make excuses not to do things that we love to do. Simple things that make us so happy. Simple things. Because we feel we're being selfish. How many people have told me, I have this hobby that I love. But I can't do it because I've got to look after this and this and this and this. And so when are you going to do it? When you die? Why can't you do it? Selfish of me, I have to cook for my family, I have to do this. It's selfish. Why is it selfish to do something you love? Why is it selfish? Do you see how untruthful we are? So then we live in great unhappiness. And when you're not happy, because you're not fulfilled, because you're not living in that blissful joy, how can you spread it? How can you spread it? So really, really, yoga is living your highest and loving everything that comes your way, good or bad. Then you know that you are practicing yoga. When you only find when things are good and terrible when things are bad, you're practicing being normally human. But after you get hurt so much by the bad times and they become too hard, then you learn that there must be a way out. And because you learn there is a way out, you will find the way out. As Lord Jesus said, ask. Like the story of the couple that came and asked and said, no. Well, they said they wanted to separate. They ended up saying they want to try and make it. But if they didn't ask, they would not have received. Seek and find. Knock and the door will be open to you. And when you really want something, the gods are so happy to give it to you. They're so happy to give it to you. But it's your own blocks that stop it from coming. Your own fears. So I was saying practically, how do you do this? Applying, as Sri Patanjali say, the opposite positive action. We call it pratipaksha bhavana. So if you are an angry person, what should you do? What should you do? You tell me. Anybody.
Be happy.
How will you be happy if you're angry?
You try to make yourself happy, you know?
Okay, good. Give me a good. Yes, you try to make yourself happy. How would you do that?
By doing something you like.
Good. Great. What? How else? Good. You're getting good. Anybody else would like to offer another way? Very good. What else would you do?
By finding somebody who's unhappier than you.
Do you know that really works?
Yours so small.
That's right. Do you know that really works? That really works. So many people, that's why they say live to love. Well, I said, what I saying is live to love, love to serve. And Gurudev says, the dedicated ever enjoy supreme peace. So live only to serve. So when you start to serve and you see, oh, this person is much unhappy, because that's what you'll see. You will see that yours is nothing compared to somebody else's, and you go, oh my God, I made myself a victim. I made myself a victim for no reason. And that's what we do. We victimize ourselves and then we blame God for it. But we have the brains and the intellect to read, to study, to get ourselves out of blame mode. We have all these books available in this age. We're so blessed. You know, you can heal your life by Louise Hay's, face your fears and do it anyway.
Power of intention.
The power, so many power of now. There's so many wonderful things out there to help ourselves, to make ourselves happy. So if you can't do it,
Or you fake it to make it.
absolutely, you fake it to make it. And this is how I work with people with phobias. We fake it to get over their phobias, you know. And what we do is they can't, maybe they have a phobia of flying or whatever it is, and then we fake it in their minds. We, you know, I go through, I say we because I do it with them, you know, I'm always feeling like I'm the one that's going through the phobia. And what we do is we imagine, for example, the plane, and then going inside the plane, and choosing which row seat, sitting on the plane, looking at the stewardess, and finding all the things that trigger the person. And then the person, first time they do this, they'll be like, da 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 da, can't do it. And after 6 or 8 times, we do this again and again and again. And then I'll make them visualize how happy they are to be in the plane. Oh, they're going to a new country. What drink did you order? Oh, this. And then I go, I'm suddenly nervous again. I go, okay, think of a funny thing. So this person will give me a joke in their own life. And so the next time I see the person, the first thing they'll think is when I say you're in the plane is the joke. So we lose the pressure of the pain with the fun of the laughter. So over time, the subconscious will realize that thought of anxiousness when you go on a plane is replaced by something funny, right? And so we faked it, to make it. That is exactly what we do. I like that. Thank you, young lady. You're smart. You fake it and then you make it. And that's what Gurudev said to me as well. When I first started this path, and I said to him, I said, Gurudev, you know, I was like, this person's hurt me like this, complaining, you know, we all start like that. This person caused me this pain, I'm so angry, I'm so full, how can they do this, da-da, me, and everything was that person's fault. And then Gurudev said to me, okay, you know, in order to do this, you must learn to forgive this person. In order to be free, you have to forgive this person. And how you do it is bring this person to your mind, you bless them every single day. I told him, I can't do it. And he looked at me, I said, I'll be a hypocrite. How can I do that, Gurudev? I'll be a hypocrite. It won't be sincere because Then he goes, Nalanie, do you want peace? Yes, but Gurudev, you don't understand. This person really, Nalanie, do you want peace? Gurudev, but this person, do you want peace? And I go, yes, I really want peace. I really want peace. He said, then you do it. You do it every day in your meditation. This person that's hurt you, you bless them. You send them light. You think only good thoughts about them. And then I looked as if I didn't believe him. And he said to me, in the beginning, yes, you will feel like a hypocrite. Guaranteed you will feel like a hypocrite. But after time, you will learn to forgive. Do you know that's exactly what happened? I really love this person today. But I still know that there are certain things about this person that would like to trigger. But now I don't buy into those triggers anymore. Over time, you get strong, and then you don't buy into their manipulation. Because they know your weaknesses, so they'll pinch. They'll pinch you where you're weakest. And you react, so they'll do it more. So when I knew the triggers, and that person used to trigger me, I would say, I am allowing that person to trigger me. It's not their fault. They are training me to transcend their hold on me. They're training me not to be their victim. So what would I do? The trigger starts in the beginning. Okay, starts, walk away. Because I wasn't strong enough then. The early days. So trigger started, all the old feelings will come up, walk away. Take a few deep breaths, think good thoughts, bless, do the same thing, bless the person. And after a few months and a few years, automatically you lose all that. And then they try to trigger you, just ignore it, you don't even hear it anymore. I know, you have to go. Thank you for playing for us. Thank you. You don't hear those triggers anymore. They can't trigger you. They can't manipulate you. So they also change. They no longer use the same techniques on you. It doesn't work, so no point. So there is a peace and harmony between you. That's the next step. It can't be any other way. Not allowing it. So really, to practice yoga every day is really in everyday life. It's because we are living in this world. Like I said, when I started off with my story, you know, this guy, he wanted enlightenment. And he thought by meditating more, he would reach enlightenment faster. And the Buddha told him the contrary. Yes, meditate those 4 hours, but the rest of the time, you have to live in the world. And then your meditation energy will help you to transcend this world. But you can live in it happily. We are meant to transcend. Sri Patanjali tells us very clearly, when you have knowledge, pain that is yet to come is avoidable. Bring it to everyday life again. People who get battered, men who get nagged by their wives constantly, told you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Or women who get told the same. That's battering, right? Now, when you have the knowledge, the knowledge is, I am the one who is allowing it. That's your knowledge. Not that they are doing it to me. They are doing it to you, but I am giving them permission. every time they insult me and I cry, I've given them permission. Or every time they've insulted me and I keep quiet, I've given them permission. I've given them permission. Stop giving permission. It's not nice to treat anybody like that. So when I treat you badly, you have the right to say, no, you don't do that. So what happens? When you do that again and again, they will either learn their lesson or they'll leave you. If they can't deal with not manipulating you, they will leave you. You don't even have to leave them. Really, that is the case. You just get so strong that they can't manipulate. They'll have no more, if that's what they need. Or they will adapt, adjust, and accommodate. All you have to do is speak up for that which is right, which is kind, and which is good. And what have you done? You've broken the wheel of karma, cause and effect. So the pain that would have continued to go on for maybe another 15, 16 years, the same story, the same manipulation, the same victim mode. And this is what you find in many battered people. They'll take it for 15, 20 years, and one day they go, I can't do it anymore, I can't do it anymore. Why didn't you stop it in the beginning? Why didn't you stop it in the beginning? You allowed it. But once they have the knowledge, then their whole life changes. The pain that is supposed to come is stopped. They don't go into that relationship that is going to give them those kind of problems. They start to look for different kind of relationships. One that both people spiritually aspire, grow together. Yes, in all relationships there will be problems, I guarantee you, because we're all different. We all come from different parents, different backgrounds, different past lives. But we've come together to learn from each other. And if we can learn from each other and have a good laugh when we have a good argument afterwards, say, you know, we're so silly to argue about this thing. And then laugh about it and have fun, and just, that's transcending. That's practicing yoga. It doesn't mean that if you practice yoga, all the painful things are going to stop. It just means you deal with it so much better because you don't take it personally. The personally is the selfish side of you. Somebody calls you stupid. If you really know you're not stupid, why do you accept it? Why do you take the pain? Laugh. Really? Is that what you think? I'm stupid? Fine. I know I'm not. I know I'm not. If you call me stupid and I feel horrible, how dare you say that? I don't know that I'm not. I think I am. I think I am. You've just reconfirmed what I think I am. So that's why it's so important to practice yoga in a really clear way and understand exactly where you are coming from. I forgot to announce about the phones, right? Thank you. So that is the talk for tonight, practicing yoga. But there's so many. What?
The real world.
In the real world, is it? Okay. And this is the world we're living in. And we are going to meet great human beings. And we are going to meet human beings that are going to cause a lot of pain. Sri Patanjali guides us and tells us, those that cause us a lot of pain, if you're not ready to be in their company, stay away. The great Shankaracharya of the 6th century, great saint, said, if you want to elevate your mind, stay in good company. When you're in good company, your mind is elevated. When your mind is elevated, your thoughts will be strong and nice and you'll glow. And when you glow, you feel free. You were born free. You were born free. But be in negative company and your mind will be full of negative thoughts. And that will drag you down and you'll feel miserable. That's the advice they give us. It's the advice we get from all the scriptures. It doesn't say to say that they're bad or good. It just says the world is made up of this, very impersonal. It's very truthful. There are all kinds in this world. We all know that. Isn't that the real world? what you can't deal with in that sense, or you don't need to. Sometimes you just don't need to deal with these things, and we put ourselves into situations where we don't need to be in. Because we're getting, especially in Gibraltar, everybody's getting involved in everybody else's business. How much stuff in the mind? Don't you think you have enough with your own problems? Why do you want to know what this person is doing and that person is doing and that one? Do you know what they did? They did and da, da, da. You know what, Frank? Not only did you know that? No, but now I know you've told me. Aren't you curious? No, I'm really not. What I like to know is the news in the sense of, what's going on in life. I like to be part of life. Not in a gossip way, but what's going on. I like to know what's going on. So you're always prepared. That's why I like to watch the news. People get frightened with the news, but I don't get frightened. I pray for all those people that are suffering. But I like to be part of this world. I'm in the world. I want to know what's going on. Because if I know, then what knowledge becomes my tool. Because I know, so if something shocking comes along, doesn't matter, I already know. I won't be shocked by it. I'll know how to behave in a situation. I'm not shocked by it. I already know. I have this knowledge. So this is why knowledge helps you. That's why I say, learn, study. The best knowledge is from this university, as our master would say. This is a university. That's his words. Isn't it great? And we're here to learn from it. And it's just a university. It's nothing more than that. And you know what happened? Any of you been to universities? So many different thought patterns, so many different degrees, so many different ways, right? So many different truths, and so many different people, so many different lessons. This is just a university. But if you don't learn well, you fail. And if you don't like studying, you'll suffer. So, but if you love studying and you look at university, oh, so exciting, I'm going to increase my knowledge and then I can serve more, I can love more, I can be happier more, because the more I serve, the more I treat everybody as myself, the happier I become. But I also know that there are those people that if no matter how nice I am to them, they're never going to like me. And that's also okay. That's also okay. I don't have to force other people to like me. Why? They don't like you, they don't like you. No big deal. Why does everybody have to like us? Do you see the big egos we have? So we pretend to be something we're not. So so in front of this person, we're one way because they like to hear this from us. So we're so nice to you because then you'll like me. But then another person, I'll speak another way. You tell me something else, but I don't want you to not to like me, although I don't agree with you. I want you to like me, so I'm going to tell you what you want me to hear, although it's totally opposite from what I've told somebody else. So how can you live with you? Who are you? You're always living to somebody else's. And in a way, we all do a lot of that, you know that? In a very subtle way. And this is why one of the Gita says, one of the qualities that one should develop is, again, truthfulness and straightforwardness. Just being straight. And this is one of the qualities my husband had that I really loved. Because if it wasn't nice, it wasn't nice. He was clear. And if it was good, it was good. He was clear. Me, when I say wishy-washy. Really wishy-washy. And he'll be so happy. And there's a place in the beautiful skies flying, hearing me say this. The thing is, 99% of the time he was right. He had this instinct, because he was clear, but I would feel guilty about being clear. But he said, you're not judging them, you just know. No, but you always give them a chance. But I'm not saying, darling, you don't give them a chance. You're not hearing me, he used to say. I said, give everybody a chance, but know that this is the nature. And I go, no, you can't say that, that's not yogic, blah, 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 blah. And he would like, what is my wife talking about? It's so clear. And she's the one practicing yoga. So I owe him a lot, really, to strengthen me, because over the years, you know, when you have experience, you start to see, okay, this is absolutely true. I'm not saying he was right all the time. There were many times when I got stronger and I would say, nope, this is absolutely, but I could say it now, not wishy-washy, but with clarity, because coming from a place of really non-judgment. So it was a different place I was coming from. And when you come from that place of trying, at least all we can do is living the truth. And what is the truth? We all know the truth is that we are really human beings full of love and kindness and goodness. That's who we are. When we are not in that kindness and goodness and generosity and love, we are miserable. And when we're in I want mode, I don't have enough, I need, we are unhappy. And when we're in, I'm so grateful for everything I have, it's simple. Do you see how yoga is really very simple? It keeps coming back to simplicity. Know yourself. So if you're not happy, please, the first thing you do, okay, this is how you practice yoga, is if you hear yourself doing this, even if they are wrong, stop being the victim. See the four fingers pointing back at you. What in me is making people treat me like this? Obviously there's something I'm not practicing well in my life. Forget about that person. How do I work on myself? Good or bad is irrelevant. I don't like the way the person has reacted to me, truthful. But why is this happening to me? Obviously it's giving me a message about me. So I need to look at that. I need to see that and be very truthful with myself. Do I think I know it all? Which in the beginning of my yoga practices, I thought I know it all. My husband soon put me right down. I loved it. He was my greatest guru and greatest ego basher. He was. And really in the early years, that's what I needed. Because the layers that we carry are so phenomenal. And the moment we think we are spiritual, we think we're better than everybody else. Think again. Think again. Not true. I know many people that you would never think was spiritual. And they are so spiritual because they live so truthfully, so beautifully. They say they don't believe in a God, but they believe in goodness and kindness and compassion and generosity. That's why they're happy.